Hello, hello. It's that time again for Tuesday Talks. Thanks for being here. Can't believe it's already Tuesday again. It's been a week. So today's topic, I wanted to talk about the keys, some of the main keys to long-term weight loss sustainability. Okay, so I think one of the biggest problems that I see with women is the ability to actually keep the weight off. I feel like everyone almost can do something to lose weight, right? I mean, whether you go grab something extreme or you do a juice diet for a week or something, sure, you're gonna lose weight by doing something like that, right? So that's the part that I think that you could kind of grab at anything and just kind of do it, any type of little thing. But it's only successful if you can keep it off, right? So I actually say those things aren't even relevant. Why would you do that if you can't keep the weight off? There's no point whatsoever, right? But yet so many people are doing that. They're grabbing at these short-term solutions, and I don't think they're a solution because it doesn't last. So what's the point of that, right? I feel like when you are trying to lose weight and keep it off, the whole idea is the solution is that you're keeping it off. So I want to talk about some key factors in being able to keep the weight off once you lose it. Obviously, one of the biggest things that I kind of just referenced to is that you're losing weight the correct way, right? You're not doing some extreme that you can't stick with in the long run. So any type of diet or plan that you go on to try to lose unwanted weight, if it is not something that you can see doing for the rest of your life, then it's probably not a good plan. Okay, so for instance, what is the biggest one ever is I'm gonna cut out all carbs, right? I'm gonna cut all the carbs, which is so crazy to me. If you watched my last thing about macronutrients and you actually understood where calories came from, and the gram per calorie thing, it's so ridiculous. Obviously, people don't know that because they're cutting out the thing that has less calories in it. I don't know. I know the idea behind that is that carbs can very easily be overconsumed. So people just naturally go, well, I'll cut out the things that are too easy for me to eat. Chips and crackers and, right, anything like bread and all that stuff. I'm just going to cut it all out. Obviously, when you do that, you're going to put yourself in a calorie deficit because you're going from snacking on things that have carbs in them and all that type of food, and you're going to not having that. You're going to be in a calorie deficit. You're going to lose weight. Great. That's great. You lose weight. You feel miserable because you cut out all carbs. You've lost all joy in life. I'm kidding. But seriously, come on. Who wants to cut out all carbs? I don't. I love carbs. I love all things carbs. So then you lose all this weight. Then you do this for how long, right? 3-4 months go by and you're dying because you're just craving some type of carbohydrate. You're so sick of all that you're eating is high fat, high protein stuff. And then okay, fine, I'm going to add carbs back in. And now what? Now you haven't changed anything about your lifestyle and your eating habits and your workout habits and your sleep habits and all those things that add to your weight gain. You've not done anything about those, and now you're right back where you started, because now you're gradually gaining the weight back because you're eating carbs again, and you're like, carbs make me fat. No, they don't. They don't. Not if you eat them in the right portions. They don't make you fat. There's no one food group that's going to make you fat. It's excess calories that are making you gain weight. So you can't cut the carbs out and then add them back in and say they're the reason that I'm gaining weight. It's carbs. It's not carbs. So pick a plan that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, which should be a very balanced calorie deficit, meaning you're not doing some extreme thing where you're starving all the time and cutting out all these foods and all this stuff. You should be able to do a very low calorie deficit, and then you put your patience pants on and you be consistent in your calorie deficit, and you will gradually see that weight come off. But it's something that you can stay with for a good amount of time because it's not this drastic thing. You've just learned how to cut little odds and ends of calories here and there, but you're still eating favorite foods that you love and all the same thing. And that actually leads into one of my second points, is making sure that you don't just take your favorite foods all away, right? Your favorite foods should be a part of your diet, because if you don't have them in there, that's just, the more and more you restrict, the more and more you want something. We all know this, right? So in the right part, I'm not saying you can go out and eat an entire pizza and eat all the ice cream you want and lose weight, but those things should be a regular part of your diet so that you're not getting so crazy about them because you never have them. So it's pretty well-known knowledge that I did a cut. I was doing a cut for a while. I hadn't done one for a really long time. I was doing a cut for like 12 weeks, and I had posted it on Instagram, making sure people knew that my foods in my cut don't change very much from normal life. I just make tiny little tweaks that make my food less calorie dense, and it cuts off like maybe 50 calories here, maybe 50 calories there, and adds up. I don't completely overhaul my diet to lose weight. So I did things like, I usually do 2 whole eggs with 2 egg whites when I make my scrambled eggs. I just made 1 whole egg with other egg whites. I just took an egg yolk out. That's like 70 calories right there. Wasn't much of a difference in taste at all. And you just adjust to it, and then, there's 70 extra calories that I dropped without actually really changing my food. I also enjoy a Ninja Creamy protein ice cream every night that I make, which I absolutely love because I have a huge sweet tooth, and I put cookie dough on it every night during my cut. Now, am I having like a whole gobs of cookie dough? No. But I let myself have a little bit every single night so that I look forward to it. I know I can have it. And then I'm not having these cravings like, I've been told I can't have cookie dough because I need to lose weight. It doesn't work like that. It actually backfires on you, because then eventually you're going to just have such bad cravings, leads to binging, leads to like just grabbing little bites and licks and tastes here and there. And then you wonder why you're not losing weight, because you're not like having satiating foods and you're restricting so much. So that's my second thing, is to make sure that you aren't taking out your favorite foods from your diet. You have to keep them in the right portions, of course. Don't mistake what I'm saying, but they need to be in there for the right portions. The third thing, and I think one of the most important things, is that you build habits that lead to a lifestyle that is different from the one that you were leading when you were gaining that weight or had all that extra weight on. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you are living a lifestyle that you've gradually come into probably over the years, I've talked about this before too in some of my other Tuesday talks, is that we just naturally get more sedentary as we get older. We lose muscle, so our metabolism slows down. We're not eating as many whole foods. We're grabbing and going, so we don't have as much energy. And so then our workouts start taking, everything just slowly builds on itself until eventually we look in the mirror and we're like, who are we and where did this body come from? I don't understand where all this extra weight came from. So you have to spend the time to undo all those things, which means you have to start making an effort to get extra steps every day, to move your body more. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to, if you generally get 5,000 steps, that all of a sudden you need to be getting 10,000 steps, right? Up it slowly, habit stack. So if your daily step average is about 5,000, aim for 2,000 more than that. It's only like 10 extra minutes of walking. It's not very much. But you have to start building it into your schedule. So you have to know, okay, after dinner, I'm going to make it part of my routine that I either hop on my walking pad or my treadmill, or I walk around the block for 10 minutes, and I add those extra steps in. And you start doing that. Maybe at first it's hard because you're tired and you're lethargic and you're, I don't want to go for the walk, or I've had a long day. You push through that and you do it long enough where it just becomes a habit, and then you just do it, and then it gets easier to do. And then you're like, oh yeah, I do this, and then I go for my walk. Or building your workouts into your schedule, making them just a part of your life. I had kind of shared on Instagram that I last week had a very, very, very crazy, chaotic week. It was just, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but it was insane. It was like every single thing that could have happened. Every time I felt like I was like regrouping myself after something had happened, and I was regrouping myself and being like, okay, I can do this. Like, let's regroup. Let's I got this. Something else would happen until I was just like, is this a joke? Like, I was just looking for, where are the cameras? Like, this must be a reality TV show. It was insane. It was just one of those weeks. But my eating habits and my workouts are such a part of my daily life and my habits that I didn't just throw everything out the window and just eat everything in sight, or go off binging, or not do my workouts at all, or not move my body. Now, did it look perfect and great? And was I eating like a great amount of vegetables and the perfect whole foods and all that stuff? No, by no means was it perfect. But because I already have those habits in place and those systems in place, it was easy, even during a very, very chaotic time, to still keep enough things in place that I was fueling my body pretty well. I was still getting in most of my workouts. I was still getting in most of my steps. It wasn't all optimal. It wasn't like these great workouts, or like, oh, maybe I was at, a couple thousand steps under what I usually am because I have a very high step goal. But I still had the foundation there, and I kept moving. I didn't just completely fall off the wagon, because it's a part of my lifestyle. And then I know that hopefully this next week will not be as chaotic. Who knows? Maybe it will. I don't know. Hopefully it won't be. I don't think it can be. I think it's all downhill from here. I would hope. But hopefully I'll be more rested. My workouts will look better. I'll have more time to fix meals that have more vegetables. And I'll just be, right back on that track of doing optimal things for my health. It doesn't have to look perfect. It's just getting those things in place and in order helps so much to keep you on track. There's so many of you that you don't take the time to get these habits in place. And then as soon as something happens in life, which it always does, life is hard and chaotic and stressful, everything, it's just like, oh, I can't eat well. You're just like eating out all day long, and your workouts are just like, I can't get my workouts in, and all this stuff. It shouldn't have to be that way. So when you have those habits in place, you'll find things like, let's just use this as an example. Let's say my workouts are in place. I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go to the gym every time. Okay. Life is super chaotic this week. All this stuff is going on. I work out on those days. So maybe instead of going to the gym and working out, because I just can't, I don't have the time, or it's crazy, I'm going to do a 20-minute workout in my living room at home. I'm going to just lift some weights. Now, is it perfect and is it great? No, but it's already part of your system, and it gets your body moving, and it's healthy for your brain, and it makes you just feel better and be more prepared to handle all that stuff that's coming at you. Trust me, getting in those little walks, taking the time to do that, even though I technically didn't have the time, but making sure I was getting those walks in and feeding myself well and making sure I went to bed on time, all those things were what got me through all that. So having those things in place are so important. And then you're not constantly just falling off the rails, right? I've had so many women come to me that are like, I can't stay consistent. I keep starting and stopping. The thing is as soon as something hard hits, you just drop everything. Like, oh, I can't do this and this. I can't have a hard week and eat well. I can't be tired and get workouts in. You can, you just have to lower your expectations. It's not going to look perfect. It has to be a habit, right? It's very similar to, like, I'm sure many of you women have a habit of washing your face and putting lotion on at night, right? So that's just a habit. You just do that. I mean, I always do that. I feel like I would feel gross if I ever went to bed with my makeup on and not putting lotion on. I'm too old for that. I'm getting too many wrinkles. I can't do that. So what if that was my rhythm to do that? That was my habit to do that. And then I get to a week like last week where I'm getting to nighttime and I'm like, I can barely stand up. I'm so tired, and there's just so much going on. So maybe I just, like, instead of putting on my special eye cream, and I have like 3 different creams, right? Maybe it's just washing my face and putting on one lotion all over instead of doing my special ones, and I'm done. Now, is that like optimal? No. Do I want to be doing that every single day for optimal, like, my wrinkle cream and all that stuff? No, I want to put the good stuff on, but that's okay to at least just do that much. It's better than nothing, right? So you don't just drop it, you just do a little less. And then when things get easier, you go back to doing more, and then you do less. And then you stop that pendulum from swinging to I'm off, I'm on, I'm off, I'm on. Or losing the weight, gaining the weight, losing the weight, gaining the weight, right? Because it's like all or nothing constantly. So those are probably my 3 main things to really keep in mind. Are they something that you can implement like right away? Absolutely. Absolutely. Start to habit stack right now. Like, write down 3 things, little things that are manageable and easy this week that you want to start making a habit, and commit to those. So they can be as simple as, like, I'm going to make sure my breakfast every morning has at least 20 grams of protein in it. That's it. That's 1, right? Number 2, I'm going to make sure that I get 1,000 extra steps than I normally do every day this week. 1,000, guys, that's literally less than 10 minutes of walking. So easy. You could walk around your block and you could do it. So we have the protein, we have walking, and then I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier than I normally do. Ooh, this is a hard one, because I know a lot of people, they just get on their shows, or they get on Instagram and they want to scroll. Maybe you commit to backing up that bedtime and saying, I'm going to go to bed 30 minutes earlier than I always do. And that's it. You just do those 3 things every day, all week long. Maybe you only do it 6 out of the 7 days. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just building habits. And slowly but surely, you're going to see that you're going to end up. Now, it takes time, yes, but you're going to end up a different person. So it's actually going to change how you're able to lose weight and actually keep it off. So wouldn't that be better than in 5 years still being on this roller coaster of losing and gaining and losing and gaining? So don't give up. Stick with it. I want you to do your homework for the week, is pick those 3 things that you want to build on habits. You can steal my ideas if you want to, and report back to me. I want to hear if you did them or not. I hope this is helpful. I'll talk to you guys later.